If you're over 50 and you've been doing everything right to keep your blood sugar under control, cutting back on sugar, choosing whole foods, eating more fruits and vegetables, there's a good chance there is still one healthy food sitting in your kitchen right now that is quietly pushing your blood sugar higher than you realize. Most seniors eat it because magazines recommend it, commercials call it heart healthy, and doctors say it's packed with nutrients. But inside the body of someone over 50, it behaves very differently. And today, I want to help you finally understand why. I'm Dr. Sarah Collins, and for more than 18 years, I've helped older adults manage diabetes and prediabetes through science-based nutrition and lifestyle strategies. One of the most important lessons I teach my patients is this: a food that is healthy for a 25-year-old is not always healthy for someone in their 50s, 60s, or 70s. Your metabolism changes. Your hormones change. Your muscle mass changes. Even the way your liver and pancreas respond to food changes. And when your physiology shifts, the same foods you once tolerated easily can suddenly start causing blood sugar spikes, morning fatigue, weight gain, and stubborn belly fat. Before I tell you exactly what the food is, and I promise I will, I want to walk you through the reasons why it becomes such a problem after age 50. Understanding this part will help you make much better decisions for your body going forward. As we age, our muscles lose a certain number of insulin receptors called GLUT for transporters. You can think of them as little doors that open up and pull glucose out of your bloodstream. When you were younger, these doors opened quickly, efficiently, and with very little insulin. But after age 50, the number of these doors naturally declines, and the ones that remain open more slowly. This means your body requires more insulin to move the same amount of sugar. That alone creates a higher risk of spikes with certain foods. The liver also plays a major role in this problem. After age 50, the liver tends to produce more glucose overnight through a process called gluconeogenesis. This happens because aging affects our hormones, especially cortisol and growth hormone, and these shifts cause the liver to release extra sugar even when you haven't eaten. That's why many older adults wake up with high fasting glucose despite having a small dinner or avoiding carbs at night. That elevated baseline makes you even more sensitive to foods that release sugar quickly. Another major shift that happens after age 50 involves your digestive hormones, especially GLP-1, which helps slow down the rate at which food leaves your stomach. When GLP-1 is lower, food moves into your small intestine faster. And when food reaches the small intestine quickly, carbohydrates break down and enter the bloodstream almost immediately. If you're over 50 and you eat certain foods on an empty stomach, the spike can be so fast you may feel it as dizziness, heat in the face, shakiness, or sudden hunger. This is where the supposed healthy food becomes a serious issue. Not because it's inherently bad, not because it's full of chemicals or highly processed, but because your aging metabolism is no longer compatible with the way this food behaves once you eat it. That food is bananas. I know many people think bananas are the perfect snack, natural, portable, good before exercise, full of potassium, recommended for heart health. And all of that is true. But the part of the story that's rarely told is how bananas behave inside the body of someone over 50, especially someone with diabetes, insulin resistance, prediabetes, or liver issues. Most people don't realize that the glycemic index of a ripe banana can be as high as 70 or even 74, depending on how spotted it is. For reference, white bread sits around 75. That means a ripe banana can raise your blood sugar almost as quickly as a slice of plain white bread. There was a study published in Clinical Nutrition that measured how fast different stages of banana ripeness affected blood glucose. Green bananas have a GI around 42, but as they ripen, starch turns into simple sugars. A spotted banana has dramatically more glucose and fructose than a green one. And because of the age-related changes we talked about, slower insulin response, reduced muscle glucose uptake, increased liver sugar release, that spike becomes magnified in older adults. Here's another problem with bananas. Much of their sugar is fructose, which goes straight to your liver. In young adults, the liver is usually able to process fructose efficiently. But after age 50, your liver gradually becomes more sensitive. Many older adults have what's called NFLD, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, often without knowing it. When fructose hits an already stressed liver, it can be converted into fat more easily, and the liver may release extra glucose into your bloodstream as a rebound effect. This is one of the reasons some seniors wake up with high sugar even when they didn't eat anything sugary the night before. Another thing people overlook is that bananas are low in fiber relative to their sugar content. A medium banana contains about 14 grams of sugar, but only 3 grams of fiber. That ratio is simply not ideal for someone over 50 because you need fiber to slow glucose absorption. Without enough fiber, the sugars in bananas enter the bloodstream extremely quickly. Many of my older patients tell me they experience hunger or weakness an hour after eating bananas, and that makes perfect sense. When your blood sugar shoots up, your insulin surges to bring it down. But when insulin overshoots, something that happens commonly in older adults, you get a dip in blood sugar that triggers cravings. That's why you can feel shaky or hungry even though you just ate something healthy. It's not a lack of willpower. It's biology. And here is something I want you to understand clearly. Potassium, one of the nutrients bananas are praised for, does not slow down sugar absorption. It does not prevent a spike. It's great for heart rhythm and muscles, but it does not protect your blood sugar. You can get potassium from many other foods that don't send your glucose soaring, like avocados, spinach, white beans, and salmon. Let me share something interesting from research as well. A study by the University of Sydney tracked the blood sugar response of older adults after consuming bananas at different levels of ripeness. They found that in adults over 55, the spike was much faster and lasted longer compared to younger adults. This is likely due to reduced glucose uptake in aging muscle tissue, a phenomenon well documented in metabolic research. The researchers pointed out that older adults are up to 30% less efficient at clearing glucose after high GI foods. This is why eating a ripe banana first thing in the morning, especially without protein or fat, can start a blood sugar roller coaster that affects your entire day. Many seniors tell me they feel sleepy mid-morning, hungry before lunch, or tired after exercise. Once we remove bananas or reduce the portion, their energy becomes more stable. Now, let's talk about something many people never think about: how they eat bananas. Most people don't just eat a banana alone. They add it to oatmeal, cereal, smoothies, or yogurt cups. All of these are carbohydrate-rich foods. If you blend a banana into a smoothie, you break down its structure so much that the sugar absorbs even faster. Some patients have seen spikes up to 180 or 200 milligrams per deciliter from what they thought was a healthy breakfast smoothie. If you love bananas, this doesn't mean you can never have them again. You simply need to eat them in a way your body can manage. Choosing a slightly green banana instead of a ripe one gives you more resistant starch, which acts like fiber and slows sugar absorption. Eating half a banana instead of a whole one reduces the load significantly. Pairing it with a source of fat or protein, like a tablespoon of natural peanut butter or a handful of almonds, slows digestion and interrupts the spike. But I will be honest, for most seniors I work with, replacing bananas with lower GI fruits makes a noticeable difference within 10 to 14 days. Berries, especially blueberries and raspberries, contain polyphenol that directly improve insulin sensitivity. A Harvard study found that eating berries at least 3 times per week reduced the risk of type 2 diabetes by up to 26%, largely because of their effect on glucose metabolism and inflammation. Kiwis are another great option. They have a surprisingly low glycemic index, plus plenty of vitamin C and fiber. Green apples, in moderation, also work well for most older adults because their sugar releases more gradually. You may also find this useful. Many seniors struggle with high triglycerides. Reducing fructose intake, meaning cutting down on bananas, grapes, mangoes, pineapple, and juice, can bring triglycerides down faster than reducing fat. That's because fructose is handled uniquely by the liver. So when we remove bananas and swap them for berries, triglycerides often drop alongside blood sugar. Another hidden issue with bananas is timing. One of the worst times for an older adult to eat a banana is at night. Remember what we said about the liver increasing glucose production overnight? Adding fructose before bed overworks the liver at exactly the wrong time. I've had patients who only changed one habit, stopped eating bananas at night, and their fasting glucose dropped by 10 to 20 points within a week. When you're over 50, managing blood sugar is not just about avoiding desserts or cutting back on soda. It's about understanding how your metabolism has changed and adjusting your diet to match it. And bananas, while healthy for many people, are simply not the best match for the aging body. If you ever feel tired after breakfast, hungry sooner than expected, shaky between meals, or frustrated by unpredictable glucose readings, I recommend doing a simple experiment. Remove bananas for 2 weeks. Replace them with berries or kiwi. Add protein to your morning routine. Drink water before meals. Track your fasting sugar. You may be amazed by how different you feel. And remember, nothing about this is your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Your body is simply reacting in a way that makes perfect sense for your age, your hormones, your muscle mass, your liver function, and your insulin sensitivity. Once you understand that, you can start making choices that work with your biology instead of against it. I'm Dr. Sarah Collins, and my goal is to help older adults understand their bodies, not through fear or shame, but through clarity, compassion, and science. If this video helped you, share it with someone over 50 who might also be eating this food every day without realizing how it affects their blood sugar. And let me know in the comments what food or habit you'd like me to explain next. I'm here to help you live healthier, longer, and with more confidence in your own body.